What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at MyCowboysFamily, and hop in the Discord. Link for that's in the description box down below.
A couple things, some housekeeping things here for our Cowboys to discuss and talk about tonight. The practice squad. They're all over the screen right here, yeah? Mm-hmm. We got that kind of finalized. I say the initial practice squad finalized. We definitely got more of the regular 53-man roster solidified today, and we're going to go through it all with you here, my Cowboys family.
Surprises on the practice squad, though.
Well, some guys, you want to get them back, and we said could be a problem. That's why we put some of those guys on a 53 to save them from getting plucked.
Our drafting room is just that good.
Hey, I'm going to give you some facts about that as well, and much more here in MCF. We're going to hear, Dak and Trey Lance is always that in the background. People are making it more than it is. We'll hear from Dak. Kearse also spoke on the defensive kind of leadership side of things, and a couple other guys also spoke about making this team 53 or practice squad. DeMarcus Lawrence, there's a practice today early in the morning. You can see the sun is still just like rising. You see Brandon Cooks, number 388, CeeDee Lamb. You see DeMarcus Lawrence here, number 90, and just look, the camaraderie is there. And this team is really just can't wait. 10 days away from our first football game. I cannot wait. It's almost here, guys. Almost in single digits of days away. Now, let's get rolling in here. Another Cowboys chat. And, we got a couple. It's going to be a quicker stream tonight, we think. And but before we can even get going, we got to shout out those that make the thing flow every single night here at My Cowboys Family. And this week, it's domination, representation from the man that you know why he's here.
Snug X. Thank you so much, Snug. Appreciate you. Not just the sponsor of the week and the Cash App King, but you're repping it 3 weeks in a row.
1 and 1 and 1. 3 in a row for Snug X, having a little streak of his own. Also 24 points in Israel.
Mukuamu, stream boss.
Izzy Mukuamu right there for Snug X, holding it down right now still with the takeover, right? And you got Jason Renfro. He is currently in first place trying to take that sponsor of the week over A. Lavelle and Dwayne Broussard and many others who, by the way, I do have to update you guys. Dwayne Broussard did have a $2 holler pre-stream and a Go Cowboys.
Of course.
Much love, Dwayne. Appreciate you as always. And you look at the leader there, yes, you got Jason Renfro. He's also got 4 weeks, a whole month of domination in the gifting membership side of things. A Skeptical Fan had 3 full months. But now Jason Renfro has 1 full month. Much love to Mr. Jason Renfro. And he's trying to go for that 5 on it. Why do I say that? Because he's in the lead right now, 2-1 safety to an old school, touchback. I don't know, back in the 20s. Skeptical Fan in second place. So we'll see how that goes throughout the week. I did want to say also one more spot where we have a leader that's named Jason Renfro. It's in the Cash App side. Yes, the leader currently is this guy, JR. And he also had a pre-stream drop of $1.43, $1.43 holler.
Thank you, Jason.
And I Go Cowboys. You know why he's here. Much love to Jason Renfro as well. So thank you guys on that side of things. Got to shout out the star level membership as we always do. People like Andy Potched and Mary Alvarez, LC. You got Ron the Don Smith.
Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself.
Yeah. And Jason Renfro and Skeptical Fan. I mean, the gifting combination powerhouses here. So appreciate everybody in the star level and the over everything. If anybody ever gets in there, those are the top shelf memberships. And speaking of, baby, there is something coming up at the end of this weekend. If you want to get into star level, here's your chance. You know what? You know why? Oh, because Snug X is repping it now. No, you know why? Because much love to you guys in the house, supporting our channel through super chats, gifting memberships, jumping into memberships, thanks button. There's also 4 other ways that go into the Cash App crown side of things.
Of course, you have the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, of course, and last but not least, the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen just like a super chat.
Boom. And now, let's talk about who's in the house tonight and who's nightly shout-outs, baby.
We have Retro Scotty in the house. What's up? Yeah, LL Cool J can hit us up whenever he feels like it. So, Rolando Rodriguez, what's up? Much love. So, yes, we are thankfully, as you can hear, fine, safe, thankfully with power, all good guys. Honestly, the
We've
storm.
been through a lot worse, and they kind of missed us, right?
Not that bad. The worst of it was when I got slammed trying to shop for groceries yesterday and just having to go.
Yesterday was worse than today, and honestly, guys, Being honest with you, it kind of missed us. I'm sure some people in more North Florida and Panhandle probably got it a lot worse. Definitely got it a lot worse. So we hope that they're doing okay. It was a level 3 or 4 when they hit. We were pretty safe here. We got a little bit of, tropical storm winds. That's nothing for us here in the Florida area.
Yeah, and thankfully no down trees or power lines or things like that. Yeah. So all good, all safe. And able to, come at you with this cowboy content tonight. Which I will say, I was a little worried for a second there about the power.
We weren't sure, but, we handled a lot worse. We handled Hurricane Ian and others last year, and we survived that one without losing any electricity. It was a good chance we probably weren't going to lose it either. So, thankfully, everyone in our family, everyone's safe and lives in these areas and in this part of Florida. And hope you idiots out there listening or watching or knows people out there, hopefully they are safe as well.
Yeah, let's hope that's the end of the hurricane excitement. So.
It's just starting.
Brandon James Shane, the house, Monroe, good depth, much love. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're definitely going to talk about that O-line depth, let me tell you. Yeah. Ice Tippler, what's up? Hello and hi. Daniel Berry Sports, what's up? Mike Aldana here and chatting with us. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself. Cowboy Execution, hello. Kelly KC representing. We have Chuck Pridgeon, what's up? Much love. Lost in Translation, hello and hi. Texas Twister, stay safe out there on the road. Hector Colon, what's up? Much love. Frank Moyer, hello, representing.
Yeah.
Presley Mitchell, much love to you as well. Freedom First, who was first this time, so shout out to him. Hoodlum, what's up? So, baby, let me go ahead, pass it off to you, because like you said, we have some Cowboy news, some Cowboy shenanigans today.
And we're going to start with NFL news, though. Kicking it off, just a couple quick notes in the NFL. Let's get down. Let's kind of get into this. The Cardinals, believe it or not, head coach, their former head coach, Steve. Let me see. Hello, testing. It's not working. Interesting.
What?
My little bouncy head. Hello, testing. Yeah, I don't know. It's not. Yeah.
Is the mic set properly on that side?
Should be. Yeah, it's showing up here. Let's see. Now it's working.
There you go.
So there you go. Now you see me when I'm talking. Former Cardinals, Arizona Cardinal head man. It's a bad situation in Arizona. They're getting rid of everybody, and now they got a bigger issue, I think, with ownership, who's been owning that team for over 100 years. Former Arizona Cardinal head coach Steve Wilks testified that a team executive gave him a burner phone to communicate with former GM Steve Keim. Remember him, guys? He was the guy who was alcoholic and other things are against him. As far as drinking is concerned. And again, these were orders from Steve Keim himself and team owner Michael Bidwell. And this was during his suspension. You're not supposed to talk with this guy. So they had burner phones so it would cover it from the NFL. So that they could
still talk to him.
Yeah. So that was a deposition obtained by ESPN. The head coach at the time knew this. The lawyers for the Cardinals asked an NFL arbitrator to destroy the videotape and transcript of this deposition. But the team's former head coach, Steve Wilks, in his deposition, which they wanted to destroy, the arbitrator ruled that on Monday to keep this material intact and not destroy it.
Gee, I wonder why.
In his deposition, Wilkes said the team owner Michael Bidwell berated him multiple times, including a post-game incident that occurred in front of his 9-year-old son, like meeting him right there in front of his son.
Lovely.
So that's kind of where we end on that Arizona Cardinal situation. But that's like an implosion going on. And listen, my brother's a big-time Cardinal fan. He knows the Bidwells. I don't think he likes them too much. We'll see if they might move to who knows where, back to Chicago or St. Louis. I don't know. But either way, that's the update on that mess of a team. Talk about the Cowboys.
I was about to say, the Joneses might pull some clown show-ish, but at least Jerry does run a pretty tight ship when it comes to that type of stuff.
Of course, we can look over the stuff that happened last year with the cheerleaders and the guy Dalrymple who left, and I'm just saying there was a lot of things that was going on. But again, comparatively, I mean, this is a true workplace, a toxic workplace that could be one of those things nowadays that could basically take the whole ownership away. If the owners vote them out, that's possible that could happen. Like
okay, so then let me retract my statement and say at least Jerry can cover his tracks better. How about that?
100%, without question. Jerry Jones is I guess you could say he's a master at knowing the system, the legalities of things. Anyways, an interesting rumor I want to bring up tonight, and just listen, we're having fun here tonight, right? Supposedly a deleted scene from Hard Knocks with the Jets, has supposedly revealed Aaron Rodgers saying that he played like 90% of his games high.
Which makes him different from other NFL players. How exactly?
I was like, well, I know, but saying that 90% of the time he played high, according to this report. I don't know if it's true or not.
Right.
But and he said this in the last 5 years. Now, maybe in his first 10 he wasn't doing that, but his last 5 years he's been basically stoned playing football as a quarterback. You got to think fast. So interesting that he, also could open up things. I guess he actually was again, according to most NFL people that know the situations going on there in the underworld, he was unrivaled, according to some discussions, when it comes to the level of mushrooms that he took to get high during games, which he stopped taking only at the NFC, like the NFC game title games, like NFC Championship games. That's when he was. Let's say he was doing this during the catch. Like he was on shrooms or something, and then the next week he stopped.
I was just about to say.
That's crazy stuff. I don't know if it's even true, but it's allegations.
When you said high, I guess I just assumed the Mary Jane, but
we know he does that. I mean, that's obvious.
But it sounds like it was more than that.
Yeah, mushrooms. Yeah, and other psychedelics.
I don't know about you, but how do you quarterback when you're on psychedelics that alter your vision?
Stone Immaculate and Stephen White. I'm sure they have something to say about this.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure about 95% of the league probably plays stoned, but on shrooms.
That's a little bit more
interesting.
Rare.
I wonder how that affects people's feelings, just because obviously I don't think Aaron Rodgers is necessarily the problem or anything like that. But you can't imagine that anyone in Green Bay is going to be happy hearing that, considering that, it's not like they've won anything the last few years.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
The last 5 years they haven't won.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one thing to say, if Patrick Mahomes comes out and says he was high on shrooms the whole time, I don't think anyone's going to give an absolute
I think you got to remember, too, I mean, those games that they didn't complete the Super Bowl quest, which was every year but one, with Aaron Rodgers, you got to remember, it was far from being his fault. So even if you want to say, well, what if he wasn't stoned or high on mushrooms in those games? If these claims are real, then you got to say, well, okay, he wasn't the reason they lost. So it wasn't anything to do with it. He played great games, So just some things to think about. So anyway, any other comments on this crazy story? Which again, it's allegations. There's nobody's seen this deleted scene.
Allegedly,
yeah.
Allegedly.
So I'm gonna wait to hear that actually before I kind of take this more seriously. But right now, it's just a rumor. We'll leave it at that.
So anyway, no, that's all. We can kind of keep rolling.
Yeah. So let's talk about Cowboy Connected here. Cuts and pickups and all that stuff that's going around in the NFL. Because, of course, today in the NFL, we'll talk about the Cowboys right up here next. But think about this. Shitloads of players were assigned today from all over the NFL, usually to their own teams. These players that were cut, a handful of them, 16 per team. And some guys that got put on practice squads. Will Grier. Congratulations, man. That game with Dak play calling, that game for him, and that Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders game in Dallas, the last preseason game, Will Grier got a job because of that. So, again, he threw for 305 yards, of course, in that game. Ran 45 yards in that game and threw, 2 touchdowns and ran 2 in. He signed with the Bengals practice squad. He actually was one of the 3 quarterbacks. They walked into the Bengals campus today. Yep, there was Will Grier in the Bengal orange and black there. So, again, remember, his cut happened a couple days ago. Officially signed him today, and he was there back in the first day of practice back after the cuts. So, congrats to Will Grier. Now, what about our old backup quarterback, Ben the Coochie DiNucci over there right now? Listen, he has the backwards upside down Dallas hats. And Ben DiNucci, guys, he tried it out with Denver. He got cut. And then he re-signed with them, with the Denver Broncos, to the practice squad. So, again, guys, both our last quarterbacks developed by Mike McCarthy. Still got a little bit of gas in the tank there for DiNucci, and drafted by McCarthy 3 years ago. He is now on the practice squad of the Broncos. Will Grier on the practice squad of the Bengals. Congrats to both those guys. And here's another one. I know you guys were talking. Some of you guys were like, let's get Maher back. No, please no Maher. But I'll say this, guys. The Rams, they actually said, you know what? Let's get old Maher a try. The Los Angeles Rams today finalized contract details with veteran kicker Brett Maher. So Brett Maher's off the market, baby. No more Brett Maher. He's in Denver.
Oh no!
I mean, he was cut by Denver, and now he's with the Rams. So again, that tells me it means he's a practice squad guy right there. You also got, Anthony Brown? We were thinking about, what was he's trying out for multiple teams, the Ravens and other teams. I think he tried out for the Steelers. Today he got signed, Anthony Brown. Yeah, Anthony Brown got signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they signed him to the practice squad, of course. So you hear a lot of our Cowboy players getting cut or not even being signed. Like Anthony Brown, he just got picked up and he had 1 day of training camp. So congrats to Anthony Brown now with the Steelers. Jalen Smith, who was cut by the Saints, today was picked up on the practice squad of the Saints. So he stays there, 2019 Pro Bowler. He led the Giants in playoff tackles last season. So Jalen Smith, congrats to him, going back to the Saints. And here's one. It's not really that important. It's more of an NFL one. But the Ravens, they signed today to their practice squad defensive back Darryl Worley. Remember him? Horrible for our team. But the bigger name is not even a Cowboy. It's running back Melvin Gordon. Man, he's now a practice squad member of the Ravens. That's a pretty good practice squad player there, Melvin Gordon, in my opinion. So, again, a lot of these moves going on. That's the NFL. You see a lot of our players getting signed. This is what's important. I wanted to bring up this stat. The Cowboys currently, right now, after all these pickups, after the practice squad stuff, they lead the NFL for being responsible for starting the career of 82 players currently right now in the NFL. That's the number one team of basically getting players in the NFL and keeping them in the NFL. It's the Dallas Cowboys, and that's the style that this team has been working with for a long time.
I was actually going to ask you that question yesterday, but in my head I'm like, that's going to be something kind of very hard to work out statistically speaking, you know what I mean? Because you have to look at every single player that's currently active and basically who drafted them, all that other stuff. So I'm glad that we're not the only ones kind of in that same mindset there, just because you have to imagine the Dallas Cowboys keep plenty of people employed, just on their day-to-day stuff. But absolutely, the NFL is looking at us like, these guys know who to draft.
To me, this tells me it's about one person specifically, and it's this gentleman right here. Will McClay. I mean, you might not like all those picks. You might have doubts about maybe how involved he was in Taco and all that stuff, but overall, this guy is the savior of this team right now. Let's be honest about this.
A GM and all but title.
Of course, but still Jerry Jones is the GM. The point is, and Jerry Jones can sway everything, and it doesn't matter what Will McClay thinks, and we've seen that in drafts happen. So that's where...
but I think similar to how we have... It's almost like we have two head coaches, right? With McCarthy and Quinn. That's what I'm trying to say. Jerry might be half of one GM and Stephen Jones might be another half, but Will McClay is a whole GM, so we've got at least two in there.
I hear you.
Right?
It makes a good point. Again, it makes a point. But again, I think Will McClay, it just shows that he knows how to draft them. Him and Chris Hall, they know how to get these guys in, undrafted guys, and keep them in the league. Now, we have 82 players that were brought into through the Cowboys. That's number one in the NFL, 82. Next, second place, the Ravens have 77. Then the Vikings with 75, the Niners with 74, and the Patriots 71. Again, we have 82. So a lot more than all these other guys. Now, another interesting fact about the rosters, and I'll keep Will McClay up there because about 83 of the Dallas Cowboys' current roster right now began their career with the Dallas Cowboys. That is the most in the NFL. Did you guys know that? Most in the NFL, 83% of our roster were Cowboys. And that means it's about getting our guys, and that's the Jerry Jones mindset. You keep these guys, you keep building with these guys. So, again, when you look at the rest of the league, Cowboys have 83% of their current roster. The Rams are second with 80% of their roster. Started their career with the Rams. Then the Ravens, the Packers, and the Bucks, they're all around 73% of their roster. So the Cowboys, once again, when it comes to their own guys, when it comes to scouting their guys, when it comes to keeping their guys not just on their team, but in the NFL, Will McClay, not just us trust in Will McClay, everyone in the NFL trusts in Will McClay. So again, these teams, these are the teams that draft well. The ones I just kind of mentioned. They identify quality, undrafted free agents, led by, Will McClay and Chris Hall. And the Cowboys lead all of it. Keep that in mind. And we're getting, the analytics crew in this thing. We're going to be even more, I think, tedious about making our picks and making the right ones when it comes to undrafted guys, free agents, even a trade here and there. I'm just saying, I think that with the analytics group, Will McClay, Chris Hall, we got this locked down. So today, Will McClay, Mike McCarthy, the Joneses, they had to figure out who we're going to bring back on this 53 and how we're going to massage the roster to get our long snapper back and another player or two. So all waiver claims had to be submitted by 12 noon Eastern today. The rosters will be refined over the next couple of days. Keep that in mind. When it comes to more, claims out there, waiver claims could still be going on for another couple of days in the sense that somebody could release whoever was released today from some rosters and now has to wait 24 more hours for the clear waivers. That's the way it always goes when you get released. There's free agent signings that are still out there that are still looking to get signed at one day soon. Non-season ending IR designations, which went down today, and practice squads. Practice teams now. Practice squads getting put together. 16 is where you're building up to. That's the limit there. So Will McClay went to work, getting our guys, at least getting most of our guys back. We didn't get them all back, but let's talk about what went down when it comes to this roster and two players when it comes to injuries. Now, yesterday we showed our the 53-man roster here, and you see two guys on this roster. Look at cornerback Nashawn Wright. Look at offensive lineman and really offensive tackle Matt Waletzko. Both these guys had injuries finishing the season. We just saw, I think, Nashawn Wright get out the boot. Waletzko got that shoulder injury. He still played in the game, but not too much. So both these guys did not practice today. I'll get into the practice later. And this was very expected because remember, this was early in the morning before they could do the injury movement. So they were not on the field. Neither was Donovan Wilson. I'll explain that later. But when it comes to Nashawn Wright and his ankle injury and Matt Waletzko and his shoulder injury, they were then placed, after the morning session of practice, they were placed on the injured reserve. So they were now we have 51 guys out of 53 on this practice squad. Cross them out. They can come back in 4 weeks. I'll explain here, guys. They come back in the season in 2023 after missing. They have to miss at least 4 games. Then you got a week to acclimate to that week, the 5th game. And, usually a team sometimes needs a 6th week to get them in this by week 6. Sometimes you missed those first 4. That 5th week, it's not going to be enough sometimes. So we'll see what happens. So who did we, again, Nashawn Wright, do we need to rush him back? He can stay out there for like 8-9 weeks if we needed him. Same thing with Matt Waletzko. Neither guy is a needed rush back guy. You can back in 4 weeks. The limit's like 8 or 9 or 10 or something like this. So we might see them, we might not, both these guys. But at least they are available maybe at some point of this season. Now, we have 2 open spots. Who did we sign? Remember, we cut a bunch of guys yesterday, like our long snapper, Trent Sieg. Trent Sieg, who was from the Raiders, we picked him up. And I actually talked about him before we picked him up, saying this is a guy that, is a solid, long snapper. And they went with their rookie or first-year guy over a veteran. So we went in there and scooped this guy up, and it was a great signing. Cutting him yesterday was a vested veteran move. It's just temporary till we moved Nashawn Wright off of our roster. We moved Trent Sieg onto our roster. He's held with us until like 4 p.m. We signed him, made these moves, and signed him on the 53. So he's now part of the 53, Trent Sieg. And again, the high ankle sprain for Nashawn Wright, out 4 weeks at least. Same thing happened to Matt Waletzko, out 4 weeks at least with that shoulder subluxation. And when he moved off this roster, who do we move in? The guy we cut yesterday, offensive lineman, veteran Chuma Edoga, who's also a vested veteran, cannot be claimed by anybody else. We have 24 hours to hold him until, we make an offer to him, and we did, and we got his right still. So Chuma Edoga now re-signed to the Cowboys 53-man roster. Well, let's go out at offensive line. Chuma Edoga in, a veteran, got banged up, in the middle of the camp. Didn't see much of him, but a lot of people were looking to pick him up if we cut him, and did not re-sign him. So we did re-sign him, secured him. Great move on both these, massaging of the rosters. So we're set there. I'm happy with Chuma Edoga. At least he's veteran. He's a veteran guy. I can't trust an injured on and off. Well, let's go. And, we still got Awesome Richards, who's also playing tackle as well. So we got Chuma Edoga who played tackle guard. Awesome Richards can play tackle guard. And TJ Bass can play guard. We still need a backup center. We'll talk about that. So that's that part of the roster, guys. Now, for the practice squads, and we'll show you, we got the practice squad listed right here. Keep this in mind, guys, when it comes to all these, active roster re-signings and that kind of stuff. No deal is official until it's formally signed. So you're going to hear me talk about a couple of players that's not yet formally signed, but they will be tomorrow. They got to pass a physical. So I'll go through in a minute here, guys, but let's go through the list. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How about this? Let's go through the list of guys that didn't get back to us. And it hurts because you can see our picks here. This was our, predictions, right, on who we wanted to bring, the situation of bringing him back, injured, whatever it may be. And we had a couple mistakes, but the main thing here I want to keep an eye on is Isaiah Land. The reason we had him making R53 was because I was afraid someone would pick him up. pass rushers are not very common. It's rare you take a risk on one of these guys. Yes, I think someone would take a risk, and they did. The Indianapolis Colts today, unfortunately, claimed former Cowboy defensive edge rusher Isaiah Land, undrafted rookie from Florida A&M, and he flashed in the preseason. He was, the Cowboys obviously wanted him back. Waived yesterday. Today signed by the Colts. They put out a waiver claim, and that's that. The Cowboys are not awarded any players, by the way, on waivers today. We did not put in. It doesn't sound like we got any claims, and if we did, someone beat us, had a higher claim. So the point is, when it comes to Isaiah Land, he was the only player we lost through the waiver system. So as far as we lost a couple other guys, but that was because they signed elsewhere. Well, I'll explain that in a minute. We lost this guy, Isaiah Land, because he was claimed. There's no choice in his side. He was claimed on waivers by the Colts, and when you're claimed on waivers by the Colts, you know what that means? You have to go on the 53-man roster. You know what that means? He's not getting paid $50,000. He's getting paid, $1 million. So you could say, oh, he should come to Dallas because fuck all that. $1 million to $50,000, we're all taking $1 million. Stop lying if you say differently. So if it's 700,000, still more than 50,000.
Yeah.
So keep all that in mind. You can't blame the guy. It's our fault. Cowboys' fault for risking that.
Remember, when we do this, we do it knowing that it's a calculated risk, but there is risk involved. It just, even I have to admit, I am a little bit surprised, but on the other hand, not so much. Again, you just pointed it out. We employ more NFL play, we bring in more NFL players than literally any other team. So, I guess the more surprising part is that we kept a few guys on our 53 that I personally feel like would have made it just fine through waivers with no problem, unlike Isaiah Land in this case. That's the part that's a little more surprising to me.
A lot of people blame Neville Gallimore. But don't blame him. Blame the coaches. But, it's Dan Quinn. I am blaming Dan Quinn because I think he made the right choice if that's what he thinks. But
yeah, if you had to pick Gallimore or Land right now, one of these two guys, I would pick Gallimore.
I still think Gallimore would have been plucked, and I think the Cowboys didn't want to risk that. I think they could have, listen, don't get mad at me, guys. We could have caught Hunter Lipke and then picked him back up.
Yeah.
He would have got through waivers, not Isaiah Land. It wasn't about who's better or who's more valuable. It's about which guy can get through waivers, and I think Land is a much tougher guy to keep from getting plucked than someone like a fullback who's not really the fullback's just not high demand, and no one's going to give up a 53-man spot there for that. Well, the Colts did for Isaiah Land, and now he's never landing back in Dallas anymore. So, but I did want to say Neville Gallimore, who a lot of people blame for this. I don't look. We got 6 guys on the defensive interior.
Gallimore hires and fires. Sorry, guys, It's not on him.
Gallimore was asked today, guys. How's this thing going? How's the part 1 is done, getting on the team. How's the second part going? He goes, I'm gonna go whoop some ass. So Neville Gallimore is ready to do his part, and I believe that he will. I believe Neville Gallimore still has some ability. I was one of the guys. I mean, to me, I think I was pushing for him more than you were for the when it comes to that roster spot. But Gallimore has something that I think Dan Quinn likes, and has a little versatility in there. So I'm going to trust Dan Quinn when it comes to this. And Neville Gallimore,
yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah, Neville Gallimore. I mean, it's not his fault, guys. So Isaiah Land, this is more of a Jones's front office coaching. You can say Dan Quinn, I guess, to some extent. But they knew the risk, and they knew they could risk losing him.
Exactly.
No guy's ever been picked up off the waiver list from us when we cut him. Nobody who's bit us, who bit us in the ass, who's hurt us. Not one player. You can say, what's his name from last year, Ridgeway. We just cut him, and he got picked up, but it was not during this.
That was in season. A different situation.
Yeah, that was in season. It's a completely different situation.
Technically kept him on the 53.
Yeah, he did.
Outside of that, Retro, I honestly do think that we're just going to roll with the guys we have right now when it comes to our linebacker situation. Just because, again, Dan Quinn has plans for our current personnel to be able to just kind of rally and help fill those gaps as well. And, of course, you can never forget, Micah Parsons, technically a linebacker. I know it's easy to kind of forget that sometimes, but the Cowboys are counting that as part of their depth there, too.
So, outside of Isaiah Land, and I know some of you guys I want to hear in a minute, but I want
Griff 181 said, I blame Jordan Lewis. He should have stayed on the pup list.
Well, again, that's not poor Jordan Lewis's fault. That's the coaches to decide that with the front office. I know, I get it. I get it for those that don't get it. It's a joke. I'm making
so Lost in Translation said Neville has meat on his bones.
I mean, I do think he has something to still build on. If it wasn't for that arm, kind of what is that? He had to pull back.
Now, Mari Roberts said that we should have kept Big Bo over Neville. But Retro said Gallimore can at least sack someone. Bohanna can't, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, and listen, if the Cowboys wanted Bohanna, they would have signed him to the practice squad. So we'll talk about that in a minute and see if he got him or not.
Thomas Garrett, much love. Shout out to you as well. Shout out to everybody here. Take a quick second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us everywhere and anywhere at My Cowboys Family. Hop in the Discord down below.
Yes.
Yada, yada.
You know it, guys. So, hey, Isaiah landed with the Colts as a 53-man guy, getting his league minimum. Much better than getting 50,000 in the practice squad. So congrats to him, but it was our own team's fault for letting this happen. Another player, and I'm going to say on the offensive side, Dennis Houston. The Cowboys wanted to bring him back to the practice squad like we did last year after he was cut after the week 1 or 2, and we cut him, brought him back in the practice squad. He's joining the New York Giants. The New York Giants are taking Dennis Houston and putting him on the practice squad. He could have came to Dallas. He chose to go to the Giants to get a better chance probably with their receiving core. Probably easier than our receiving core. I think you brought that up when we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
But he will, again, the Cowboys and Giants play week 1, so they're getting also a little intel on us and our offense. So don't worry, guys. We'll get a little intel on them in a minute. Now, another player on this list that we kept here for the same effing reason as Isaiah Land, Jabril Cox. Now Jabril Cox is not a Cowboy anymore and stays not a Cowboy. I don't know if the Cowboys are trying to sign him. I think we were obviously trying to get Isaiah Land, but and Dennis Houston and Jabril Cox. And what happened now, guys, he ended up saying fuck the Cowboys, believe it or not, and said he's going to be a commander. So we got one guy going to the Giants, enemy territory. We got another guy going to the Commanders, Washington, another enemy.
Look, they say they don't love the Cowboys, but then they just want to see us all the time.
I'm telling you. Okay. So Jabril Cox signed with the Washington Commanders, their practice squad. Fresh start for him is what he wanted. Again, both Jabril Cox and Dennis Houston land on NFC East practice squads intel. You know what I mean? That's what they got to always get the ops for us, right? So, look, the Cowboys did discuss bringing back Jabril Cox to the practice squad. Like they had discussed this. It's a known thing. But again, the Commanders had a very high grade on Jabril Cox in that 2021 draft. Now they got a chance to snatch him up. They did it. So there you go. Two guys that could hurt. I think those could be the guys that maybe bite us in the ass in some way. Possibly. We'll have to wait and see. I don't really say Dennis Houston, but more Jabril Cox and then Isaiah Land with the Colts. But we'll wait and see on that. Now let's talk about the guys we did bring in. Because, some guys made this team, like Hunter Lipke, and, we got a lot of players that snuck in here. I think did a great job. TJ Bass, of course, the kicker, Brandon Aubrey from the USFL. So a lot of guys here that did make this team that are rookies, undrafteds, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
and then how about guys?
I'm not sure, skeptical fan. I could have sworn that Jalen Smith had signed with somebody else, not
Saints.
The Giants, the Saints.
Yes, he got picked up by
the Saints.
The practice squad of the Saints. He was released, and then no one signed him, and then they picked him back up. The Saints did. So, anyways, so when you look at this, and let's just put it up on the screen. I'm sure you guys probably know it already. When it comes to the practice squad, here's our current practice squad, our initial practice squad. You get a maximum of 16, and it's all but 2 of them are official. But these other 2 will be official tomorrow after physicals. And here you go. That's our practice squad. Here it is, guys. Boom. Yeah, that's it right there, guys. So you're seeing these names. I'm going to go a little out of order, but let's just go through it real quick. Running back, Malik Davis. Fantastic. I love this player.
Agreed.
I'm so happy he's there. He's now our 5th running back.
I'm glad he made it onto the practice squad.
Yes, he was a guy, too. I was a little bit iffy about him getting back on there, but it's hard to bring you. He has a veteran year already last year as a rookie, so great return for the Cowboys there. I'm really happy about that. I'm also happy about tight end Sean McEwen, who I know the Cowboys had a interest in. He was probably the 54th guy on this list. Him and Isaiah Land. We get Sean McEwen back. He decided to re-sign with the Cowboys practice squad after clearing waivers. So again, he stays in the building. The Cowboys kind of breathe a sigh of relief on this because they thought that he might be.
I agree. That was a close one.
Yeah, and then we got another tight end going down that list there, Princeton Fant. Yeah. He made the practice squad. As you can see, you'll see on our practice squad, we do have Princeton Fant on there making this one here. We have Malik Davis making it as well. So very, very close there in reality what went down there. Same thing with the receiver, Jalen Moreno-Cropper right there. Dennis Houston, of course, was picked up. Other guys were picked up. But Jalen Moreno-Cropper was, of course, undrafted guy like Princeton Fant, right? And now we have 2 tight ends in our practice squads. That's important to note. We have 3 starters and 2 backups. These, at the very least, someone like Sean McEwen can get easily elevated and be part of that rotation or part of that foursome of tight end. But at receiver, we are loaded. 6 receivers on our 53. So Jalen Moreno-Cropper, and I thought he was going to make a push for that 53. But if he didn't make it, I knew he was going to make the practice squad, and he did. Undrafted rookie for Fresno State. Impressed a lot from the slot this summer. So Cowboys also, interestingly, he kind of showed out, I will say, in some of our highlights during camp and even in the games. Number 80. We kept saying, who's number 80? Tyron Billy Johnson. Again, he is now a Cowboy on the practice squad. At the time, when he got signed, we had only 3 open spots left at this point. So he was one of our last kind of guys that we kind of picked up on this list. I'm going in position order. Let's go to the offensive line. Number 67, the guy who fought everyone in camp, center guard, Brock Hoffman. Like I said, he'll be back in there, and that is now our backup center. Yeah, you heard me right. But you know why I know that? Again, he's a center guard. The Cowboys are trying to get him to see if they could get him on the 53 if he was good enough at center. He was having issues at guard. He played better at center. But you know what this means? It was kind of announced after this signing. Matt Farniok. Where's Mark Hovsepian? Matt Farniok is not coming back to the Cowboys practice squad, and I don't know where he is. I don't think he got signed anywhere. So Matt Farniok did not want it back by Dallas. Something about him that Mike Soliari saw said, you know what? This guy is not cut out for our blocking situation. So Farniok, 7th round pick from 2021, not even back in the practice squad. He was a starter last year for a couple of games. Couldn't get back onto the practice squad of the Cowboys. So that's crazy, but that's something they saw, right? So who else made it along with Brock Hoffman, center guard? It was Earl Bostic Jr. Cowboys re-signed him as well to the practice squad. And you're also seeing another offensive lineman, 6'9" offensive tackle, Alex Taylor Perlow. He was brought back to the practice squad. The word on him is that because he's 6'9", he's still kind of one of the worst guys out there. But they're going to try to work with him, mold him. You know, he's one of those developmental offensive linemen who's 6'9". You just can't find that around the corner. Yeah. So 6'9" and has some skills. They're going to try to work with him. That's why they kept him on. And that's the end of the offensive side of things and the offensive line. What about the defensive side and the trenches? The Cowboys re-signed defensive edge rusher Darrell Johnson. He's a undrafted free agent earlier, and we picked him up after the draft. He surprised me that he made this team. I didn't hear much about him at all in practices, in the games, but the Cowboys liked him. Maybe he was one of their filler spots in case they lost to Jabril Cox, Dennis Houston, or, of course, Isaiah Land. Cowboys also re-signed edge rusher. He plays linebacker, but he's really a hybrid linebacker edge rusher. Tyrus Wheat, who's number 91. The Cowboys really liked him. He didn't get him many opportunities. They liked him enough to bring him back onto the practice squad. He was re-signed. He received some practice squad interest from other teams. But he said the mindset is that he didn't want to go anywhere away from Micah Parsons.
Right.
He's trying to learn from Micah. So good work from him staying in Dallas. Tyrus Wheat, the Cowboys liked him. He liked Dallas. He's a practice squad guy at the edge, hybrid rusher, kind of like, like Micah Parsons.
It's funny because
right?
Now, again, think of it this way. The star itself has always been a draw. We've always said that. We always admitted it, right? Like, you either love Dallas and want to play for Dallas, or you fucking hate Dallas, but you still kind of want to play for them. I am pleasantly surprised, and I guess it never occurred to me, but we have the type of talent now, and coaches, that make people want to stay with us, right? There's players that would rather play under Dan Quinn or get a chance to play under Dan Quinn. And this defense, there's players that want to have the chance to play under and next to Micah. I'm just saying, pretty soon we're going to hopefully have receivers and things like that want to play under Dak Prescott and things like that, although we already have that. But
we have that already. But again, it's more about like Micah Parsons is a different kind. He's bigger than Dak, in that sense.
And that's
the thing.
Undeniable.
Yeah. So as you look in here, someone like Tyrus Wheat, part of the practice squad, another linebacker which we had full rights for, a vested veteran, Malik Jefferson, guys. Formerly of the Texas Longhorns, but that was back in the college days. He's been a vested veteran. We held his rights. We picked him up and put him on our practice squad. And again, guys, a lot of word about him is that he's going to be, on the active roster for games. So get ready for that, as an elevated practice squad player. Now, another guy who also was a vested veteran, and we've done this to him a lot of times. He's our special teams ace. He's not on the 53, but he's on the practice squad, and he's going to be elevated as well, probably almost every week or every other week. Cornerback, special teams ace, CJ Goodwin, back on the team, on the practice squad side of things, as expected. the plan is for him to be elevated week 1 and do his usual role that he has, playing special teams against the Giants. Elite special team player. And you know what's crazy about this, baby? Go back to 2018. Cowboys signed him on October 10th, 2018. October 26th, we placed him on IR. On December 19th, he came back from practice. He came back to get in practice. And then December 19th, he was then placed on IR. that same day, he went right back on IR, out for the rest of the year. And then we activated him on December 29th, back out on the field. And then I don't know if we ever, if he stayed with us the whole time, but his contract ended in 2020. Declared a free agent in 2020, March 30th, was signed back by the Cowboys. September 5th, 2020, the Cowboys released him. Then we signed him back on the 7th in 2020. In 2021, we released him, signed him back in March 19th, 2021. Kept him all the way through 2022 until August 30th, waived him again so he can go back like we just did now. We waived him in 2022 and then picked him up the next day on the practice squad like we did this time. We waived him again. We re-signed him for the season. September 10th, 2022, we waived him. And then re-signed him again. Declared free agency March 14th, 2023. We picked him back up. And then we've cut him and re-signed him again. It's happened 8 times to this guy. So CJ Goodwin, a perennial, cut day guy who always comes back and is going to be playing, a lot of snaps on special teams this entire season. Eventually, he'll be moved into the 53 when there's an injury or something by week 3, 4, 5, 6. He'll eventually be on the 53-man roster. So that's CJ Goodwin. Other guys on this list: Josh Butler, number 40, had a really good game against the Raiders. Former USFL player from Mesquite, by the way, gets an opportunity with the Cowboys, so he makes the team there. Safety Sheldrick Redwine. He's re-signing with the Cowboys after clearing waivers as well. So, another safety. We have 6 on our 53. We have 1 on that, area, the leftovers there on the practice squad. And we'll get to the last 2 guys here in a minute at the bottom of that screen. First, we got to get to the person here, the lady at the top of the screen, the star level member, Mary Alvarez.
Ooh, thank you so much, Mary.
Love. With the drop of the night so far.
Technically kicking things off officially because Dwayne Broussard's drop was the pre-stream drop. Thank you, Mary, with the $5 holler saying, hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great, and God bless you all. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Much love, Mary. Appreciate you. And with that 5 on it she put out there, baby, she jumps right onto this board. I'm pretty sure.
Who's 19 again?
Dontario Drummond. He was released. Drummond. As you can see, not picked up. Neither was Isaac Alarcon.
All right, so we might still have a number 19 there.
You might get someone pick up that 19. So let me make sure I put Miss Mary Alvarez here.
We're still repping it Cowboy style, all the same there on the stream boss. So that's all. I was just trying to think. I'm like, who? Because every time I see 19, I still kind of think of Mark Cooper, obviously.
Oh, your jersey.
So it's hard not to.
Much love, Mary. She now is tied for 5th with amazing games on this board. And Snug X, like you said, 19 points. But no more Drummond. He's off the team, and he's not even back on the practice squad, as you can tell.
Yeah, my Robert said Redwine was a surprise to me.
Sheldon Redwine, a little bit. Yeah, number 38. And he seemed to, or 36, right? You had 38 was Mandel.
Yeah.
Did not get signed. So you are seeing, someone like Redwine. I thought that he was a hard hitter. He had some really good hits in practice, Mari. So I think that's the way I saw the Cowboys. Maybe that stood out for them on film.
Yeah, Retro said that he was a 4th-round draft pick and he had with potential.
Yeah, and I think that's another good point there. But I think also the way he's hitting guys. Watch him hitting those guys. A couple of those hits laid out some of our guys like Brooks and Stevens, the tight end, when he was in there in practice. These guys were laid out by Sheldon Redwine. So I guess I'm not as surprised. I'm just surprised. Let me tell you the guys I am surprised about. No Quentin Bohanna. He's on no team. No Matt Farniok. You know what I'm saying? No, I can go back to our list and kind of, I guess, go through it real quick. But, when it comes to our last kind of names here on the practice squad, Tyler Coyle, nowhere to be found, right? No Bohanna. Luckily Malik Davis is back there. No Drummond. A little bit surprising there. So, again, couple interesting names that never got back on our team, and of course that we wanted to see back on the team. A couple names that I'm surprised the Cowboys did not bring back. But there's two last names there, two last players there. Sean Harlow, offensive lineman from the Giants, and defensive lineman Willington Prevalin. These guys are both other teams, cuts that are now, complete free agents and have been have been signed to the Cowboys practice squad. So these two guys, let me just explain who they are first and foremost. Who's this guy from the Giants, right? They got Dennis Houston. Basically, I traded. We traded Dennis Houston, and we got Sean Harlow. Cowboys signing Sean Harlow tomorrow officially when he passes his physical to the practice squad. He had an invite to go back to the Giants practice squad. He chose the Cowboys instead. Of course, think about it, guys. You got no real center here, past Biotish. Right now, the only guy you have there, is Brock Hoffman, right? That's the only center you got on this team, and he's practice squad. So now we have another practice squad center, a guy who's a little bit more veteran. And, again, he's a practice squad guy. Giants wanted him back on the practice squad. He came to Dallas instead, and we wanted Dennis Houston back, and he went to the Giants instead. Our strong position of receiver, they have a weak position. Houston made the right choice going there. Same thing for Harlow coming to the Cowboys, no center. As far as backup wise, why not come in here and take over that backup center spot? So the Cowboys, that's a good pickup. I love that pickup for the Cowboys. Kind of sneaky there to solidify the center spot. Remember, we're going to rotate those guys in. I think both Hoffman and Sean Harlow every other week until we figure out which of the guy want to move up to the 53.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
By the way, Rolando, I don't think there's an official day where jersey numbers are finalized or anything, because honestly, I imagine until next week you might still see a few. I'm just saying a few shufflings, just because by next week everyone who's supposed to be in practice will probably be
I think it'll be by the end of this week. Probably by Friday, I would assume everyone's gonna have their jersey, because again, next week, now we're in the first week of practice. Now we get the Giants practice.
That's why I said that there's not an official
day
deadline or anything, but for the most part, 99% of those will be settled. Yeah. Like you said, by this weekend. Although if anyone decides to change their number or any other future moves are made, obviously.
And I got a couple number updates, by the way. I'll give you that in a minute. But the other guy the Cowboys signed, formerly of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, tomorrow after passing his physical, defensive tackle, Willington Prevalin. Now, what's this guy's deal? Is he any good? I never heard of this guy. You go through his preseason tapes and how he did this preseason. You can easily see why the Cowboys like him. He's a 3-tech, all right? So he's like another guy there behind Neville Gallimore and Osa and, Chauncey Golston. But he still has some juice in him in the sense of he has impressive lateral quickness. Great bolt, like a good knocks you backward kind of hand technique, smack, hit, punch, whatever you want to call it, when he rushes the passer. So he has some great stuff to work with. So you can see why the Cowboys, again, another guy they can mold. This guy's more of a molding guy, and the other guy from the Giants is more of a backup center guy. So you can see the difference in both of these players. If anyone's going to get plucked off this practice squad, it would be someone more like Sean Harlow than a Willington Prevalin. And again, this can happen anytime, next week. One of these guys can get pulled off and put onto another team's 53. Usually it doesn't happen until at least a couple weeks into the season, until you see how your own team is doing. You're not going to just grab a guy, because you grab a guy from another practice squad, you got to put him on your 53. I think it's got to be 4 weeks. So you only do that if you really have a need and you really see a key player out there that's somehow on a practice squad. So that is pretty much the entire Dallas Cowboy practice squad. Malik Davis, Sean McEwen, Jalen Cropper, Earl Bostic, Tyron Johnson, Brock Hoffman, Malik Jefferson, CJ Goodwin, Sheldrick Redwine, Josh Butler, Tyrus Wheat, Princeton Fant, Darrell Johnson, Alex Taylor-Perot, Sean Harlow, and William Prevalin. There's no Quentin Bohanna. There is no Matt Farniok. There is no Simi Fehoko. That's it. The experiment is over with those guys. And, there's you could say the other guys on this list, again, talk about Fehoko on this list here. Actually, I don't think we have him on the list. We didn't even put Simi Fehoko on the list. Let's get that one right, baby. But we know Simi Fehoko there, just telling you that the Cowboys had no real interest in a lot of these guys. I'm surprised on some of these, for sure. Quentin Bohanna, Tyler Coyle. Surprising that the Cowboys kind of, even Isaac Alarcon, the talking was that the word was that they were still interested in maybe putting him there at the last spot. But it was either a guy like Prillian, who's obviously got more skills than Alarcon, or, Alarcon, who's the hybrid.
It just sucks turned because, over the Isaac Alarcon experiment is, I think, officially over.
Probably, yeah. It sucks. But, he gave it a great run, 3 years in his fourth season. Maybe he'll get lucky. Maybe the Cowboys will call. Who knows? You never know. Either way, I want to know what you think about all this, the practice squad specifically. We talked about all the moves. We're going to wrap it up here shortly, so get your last thoughts in, I guess. Mary Alvarez, Dwayne Brassard, people dropping, and Jason Renfro, a little trickle there in the Cash App. Much love to you guys, but we're going to wrap this thing up here shortly, so get your last thoughts in, get your last...
But yeah, as far as the practice squad, like you said, definitely a handful of surprises. I think it really just lets you know, and to me, it's more about the way that the moves are executed. So like you guys are kind of saying, like, we actively chose to keep other guys, right, like Gallimore, just to use that example, over guys like Isaiah Land. We risked that, hoping we could maybe snag him onto the practice squad or something like that. So to me, most of the practice squad moves are more like supplementing the thoughts that I was already kind of formulating based off some of the moves that the Cowboys made. So, obviously, and the only real complaint I have, it's the one consistent complaint outside of our kicking situation, which I've basically given up on, our O-line. Like, a lot of the experiment guys that we moved on from, like, some of those guys were offensive linemen. So, just a little bit surprising considering that, like we expected guys like, let's go to somehow still end up.
Well, he was injured. He's on the team. He's just injured. He's on the injured reserve for 4 weeks.
Oh, sorry, Farniok, wrong.
Ah, okay.
God damn it. Why does everybody have to have the same fucking name? Because I'm thinking in my head, I'm like...
Farniok and Waleska are different.
Yeah, but they're both Matt.
I guess. I don't want to go by the last names. The point is that Matt Waletzko is out for a while, but yes, Farniok is a guy had some starting experience. He's off the team. He's
exactly. Thank you. So obviously the Matts changed that context completely. So, but yeah, no, it just, I don't know. I feel like our O-line depth is just not all that great, not that awesome. So that's all. But back to you, baby.
No, a couple quick comments in the chat. I'm moving on from this from the roster. Any quick thoughts on this? 2 or 3 or 4, I don't know.
Let me see. Presley Mitchell said it's their job. It's a job, like either their job or Jones, so let's see what happens. Huh. So, rolling back a little bit here, let me see. I know we already touched on those earlier comments. So, but yeah, there we go.
Rollando's asking about a backup center.
So, let me see. Oh, yeah, do we need a backup center on the 53?
Yeah,
we do technically have one.
That's what I'm trying to say. We don't have one on the 53. There's no backup center. If someone gets hurt, but again, remember, you can elevate an offensive lineman and make them like a special lineman kind of situational kind of guy. Look, Chuma Edoga, TJ Bass, and Awesome Richard do not play center. So you're 100% right. We have no backup center. What we should be elevating, in my opinion, we'll probably elevate, a CJ Goodwin and... someone like either Sean Harlow, or, Hoffman, who could both play in center as well.
Yeah.
And that's the way the Cowboys, I think, plan on doing this for the backup for the first couple of weeks till they can figure out which one they want to keep and which one they want to leave on the practice squad.
Yeah. So, in Frank Moore, we haven't checked the mail today. We haven't left the house today.
The hurricane. Yes. Everything stopped today. So.
But we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we get
bright and early tomorrow. As soon as I...
Much love, Frank. Yes.
Thank you. So, Monroe Godet, apparently the Cowboys have no interest in Jason Peters.
Yeah. And the word that I heard from Brian Brodus is that...
Well, he's too banged up or something, right?
No, just the Cowboys have no interest. That's all. Like, the Cowboys don't have interest in him. Whatever the reason is, they don't have interest.
Yeah, and it seems like other teams also don't seem to have interest, so, like...
They don't want... I think the Cowboys do not want him to slow down the progression of the TJ Basses and Awesome Richards and that kind of stuff. That's my opinion. Taking a big chance, though, when you have Tyron Smith, who always gets injured,
I mean, you know what slows down progression?
No.
Getting thrown in the mix.
Yeah, getting thrown in the mix, and you're supposed to be in there yet.
But what do I know? Sorry. Just to me, I kind of agree, but maybe there's more to it behind the scenes than we know.
We'll have to wait and see.
That's all I can think of.
Now, if you look at our thumbnail, you'll see today's practice and some photos of today's practice. And again, it was an extra early morning practice. If you take a look at it here, you can see CeeDee Lamb. You got Brandon Cooks. You got Dak and Trey Lance out there in the field, along with DeMarcus Lawrence. You can see that sun. It's looking like it's setting. No, it was rising. So it's early in the morning over there for this practice today. And the reason why? To avoid the heat. UPS driver in Texas died today, like 110 degree temperatures. in Texas delivering packages out there. So got to be careful. Again, guys, this is, by the way, this all happened basically before the waiver wire situation, which was 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. noon, Eastern Time. So the players were out there before the claims went through or not, and the waiver claims and the practice squads were finished. So it was a 53-man practice today. Literally, there was no practice squad guys today. Now, Cowboys' third quarterback, and you guys see him, on the thumbnail. Trey Lance was in practice today. The first time in a Cowboy uniform, first time in the Cowboy helmet, the star in the helmet. Trey Lance, a Cowboy out there, and Mike McCarthy working digitally. I can't say it.
Digitally.
I can't say it. You got it. Digitally next to him, helping him, coaching him, and just guiding him. And it was great to see McCarthy kind of doing that out there. There's photographs out there of that happening. And then, so again, he's wearing number 15 officially, as you can see here. Officially number 15, Trey Lance. We all figured that would be his number. Will Greer, of course, not on the team anymore. He wore it last. And in this practice today, Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, and the Cowboys staff, McCarthy and others, were Scott Tolzien. They were out there demonstrating the drills that the Cowboys do with Trey Lance ahead of practice. Like they were getting him ready and acclimated to the way the practice is kind of going to run. So Dak Prescott was very vocal, and he was keyed in on making sure that Trey Lance was progressing from drill to drill. So he was checking in with them, Dak doing the leadership thing. Trey Lance also, again, got in some extra pre-practice work, not just with the staff and the other quarterbacks, but also with Mike McCarthy and Scott Tolzien, just those two guys on their own, right? Both were teaching technique. So already, literally day one of practice for Trey Lance with the Cowboys, and he's already going through the whole thing here with McCarthy and the way he wants to develop Trey Lance. We'll see what happens. Maybe that pure talent is enough to maybe develop him faster. Possibly. We'll see. McCarthy seems very excited about that. Also, another player we just got onto this team in a trade for Kelvin Joseph was Noah Igbeneghu. I can't say his name, so we're going to say Noah Iggy. And a cornerback from the Dolphins, now a Cowboy, was not in practice today. Again, he's not even arrived yet. He arrived last night. Well, he did arrive last night, but has to get his physical, and that's why it was an early morning practice. So if it was an afternoon practice, he probably would have been out there.
Maybe had time for it.
You'll probably see him tomorrow in a practice. I'm sure the Cowboys. It didn't seem like they had the pads on today, so you'll probably see him in tomorrow's practice. It's going to be hot, and so probably another early practice. We shall see. But Noah will be, we'll see what number he wears tomorrow. Officially a Cowboy. Jordan Lewis, number 2, J. Lou 2. Jordan Lewis on the field, guys. Jordan Lewis on the field working out, not in the resistance cords way. He was in coverage, stride for stride with Kevontae Turpin. So Jordan Lewis, very much, involved and not just doing the rehab stuff on the sideline. He's in playing the slot against Kevontae Turpin. And coverage, he was blanketed. Turpin was blanketed by Jordan Lewis. So I love just seeing Jordan Lewis back on the field doing really good, and he's just ramping up right now. So by next week, we'll see if he's taking some hitting drills, right? We'll see if he's listed as doubtful or if he's listed as, I forget what's the other ones, questionable. We'll know if he has a better chance of making that game for the Giants or not. Keep an eye out Jordan Lewis, but he's definitely ramping up, and he's looking good out there. Again, let me reiterate, the guys we put on IR were not out there this morning, even though it was before the actual announcements of putting these guys on their injured reserve. Matt Walesko was not out there in the practice field, and neither was Nashawn Wright. All right, Walesko's shoulder, Nashawn Wright's ankle. But a guy who's not getting put on IR, a guy who's going to be ready for supposed to be ready for week 1, is Donovan Wilson with that calf issue. Not on the field, though, during the open portion of practice. The word is, though, he's already doesn't have a boot. He's already good to go. he was out there running around a little bit on other portions of practice. So great sign for Donovan Wilson getting back on this team. I'm very happy to, that he's, and I say back on this team, he's going to be ready for week 1, and I'm excited about that. So after practice, there was some talk going on, specifically with, I guess, a couple of our players. But I will say, let me see. I guess I was going to say something else, but I'll say that for J-Ron Kearse. Let me say one thing. Hunter Lipke did speak after practice. And a real quick thing he said, talking about Trey Lance. a familiar face on a 53-man roster. They were teammates at North Dakota State. He said, quote, I've probably seen Trey 2 times since he's been in the league, so it's a good way to catch up with him, and I'm glad that he's a Cowboy. So, Hunter Lipke, officially a Cowboy as well, now both on the same team, official. So Hunter Lipke's giving his 2 cents on things. And Dak Kearse and Dak Prescott spoke. But I'm going to go to you, baby, and kind of open it up with Dak Prescott, his thoughts about, guys out there just like Trey Lance, right? Who he spoke about in the first couple of questions were Trey Lance related. What did Dak Prescott have to say, baby?
Yeah, so
about this whole trade
had asked in the chat too, like, wait, the Cowboys didn't let Dak know that they were making the move for Lance? And, I said in the chat, it wasn't any kind of intentionally duplicitous thing or anything. They didn't ask McCarthy either. You know why? Yeah. Because things happened, according to Jerry, too quickly for that. The second they heard that Trey Lance was available, they basically just quickly asked, behind the scenes, McClay and McCarthy just like, oh, hey, like, what are your thoughts on this guy? What are your evaluations? Okay, you like him? Okay, let's go. So, there was no, like, consulting behind the scenes on that front office move. So, but like Dak Prescott said, quote, yeah, I think they read a little too much into it. As I've said before, and I made it known, I understand that's the front office and they have a job to do, and I believe in everything that they're doing. Whether it's additions or trades to this team, they're doing it for the betterment of the whole team.
Look, whether Dak understands it or not, I don't. Some people are taking his quotes and taking it out of context, like he's worried. He's not worried at all. There's nothing to worry about if you're Dak Prescott, as long as you just do your stuff on the field. He ain't losing his job for this year and next year. But he knows Trey Lance is there. It's a business move, is to get the overall team better. And listen, I'm going to say this, and I know we haven't talked much about this, but I was thinking, what if the Cowboys utilize both Dak and Trey Lance on some plays? We touched on it the other day in the goal line area. Trey Lance could be a hybrid running back, quarterback type. I'm just saying, like, he's mobile, he can throw, and he can run. He's mobile. I'm just saying, like, another way you can incorporate him, Dak, he can just take Dak out for a couple of plays. I'm just saying, to do the basic kind of specialized plays that maybe we just Trey Lance specialized plays.
You can take Trey Lance a little further than just the third string QB or the backup QB.
Exactly.
If you wanted
if you have some other talents and you can use that throwing talent on some specified situations, then I would say, let's see what McCarthy can come up with, right? You still, of course, know Dak Prescott sees the field better, knows the game better, is maybe not when they started, athletic wise. I said this the other day. Trey Lance probably better than Dak Prescott. When it comes to being able to read the defenses, is not a comparison. Dak Prescott said, obviously, and as expected, a top 10 quarterback, miles and miles and miles ahead of Trey Lance on that side of things. And that's one of those things that you have to fix, or that player will be a bust at quarterback. So that's the thing, guys. Don't be thinking we're going to see Trey Lance anytime soon. He would be, unless you use him very wisely and 4 times a game at most, it's going to be a disaster out there as full-time quarterback. Dak Prescott is the man, and I'm very excited to see him in this McCarthy offense. But go ahead. I know he spoke some more about Trey Lance because listen, Trey Lance, baby. If you remember, we talked about him yesterday, kind of saying he had some issues in with the Niners injuries, right? He fractured his fibula. He damaged the ligaments in his ankle last September. He required 2 surgeries before the end of the season. And Dak, as we know, Dak can obviously relate to that, right? I mean, he had a lot of, we know about his broken ankle, or his broken fibula, I guess you could say, in the 2020 season. Had a compound fracture and dislocation of that right ankle. So, after, Trey Lance got injured, Dak Prescott texted him after Trey Lance's injury last September, kind of put him out for the year. So what did they say? What did Dak say about this situation, his texting and his thoughts about after Trey Lance's injury last season in September?
He said, going through something like that myself, I just wanted to reach out, share my support. Just wanted to let him know that I was there for him. Any questions or anything that he had, to feel free to ask.
Yeah, I mean, again, great, Dak being, and this is not when they're teammates. This is him over there. This is like just on a personal quarterback to quarterback level. Yeah, so
what I mean?
Trey Lance got a lot of love from Dak, pre-draft, post-draft, and he's getting it right now with Dak, as we just talked about in practice. Dak's guiding him and helping him through the drills. So that's a Trey Lance segment right there. But Dak also spoke about this team and taking his team to championship number 6. What did he say about the way he feels, the way he is right now going into this 2023
now he's
season.
trying to sound like Tyron Smith.
This is the best time of the year for him?
He said, I definitely feel like I'm at my best mentally and physically. Sorry, that made me laugh. But he said, quarterbacks, we get better with the experiences of seeing defenses, being in different situations, or really just getting the feel of the game more and more and understanding what to disguise and what's not. And as much as that, the change of the play caller and the offensive coordinator have been something that's been enlightening. So
interesting. I'm glad to hear that. It's
Dak
enlightening
already
from
saying that he's learned a lot from just McCarthy taking over the offense.
I mean, imagine again, he could just be talking. Who knows how enlightened this really is? But if he sees the offensive play calling a little bit different,
Dak
it's
just
McCarthy.
called an entire preseason game,
Yeah.
so obviously it was enlightening enough for him to
feel
start stepping
comfortable
into
too,
that.
right? Feel comfortable, and think about the fact that think about the guys who were play calling, whether it was Garrett-ish, Lenahan, Kellen Moore. It's all the same branch, right? This is McCarthy's a complete different tree, and I think this is what's enlightening. Think about the enlightening of that.
Dak's a bit of a hybrid tree there. He's got some branches grafted on from another.
I agree, but we know that he has also never had this experience in the NFL. He's had similar experiences with Garrett. I don't care about Kitna helping quarterback, whatever. That's different than calling the plays. And Lenahan similar to Kellen Moore, similar to Garrett. This is McCarthy now and in full control. This is why it's enlightening for Dak Prescott.
Yeah. So Dak also went on, added in a few more comments saying, being detailed as probably ever before. Getting everybody on the same page has been fun. So yeah, I'm excited. It feels like I'm a rookie again, honestly.
Ooh.
I believe everything happens for a reason, and I think I'm here for a reason. Regardless of what it is, I want to find a way to help the team.
Well, I think Dak's front and center ready to do that. Great to hear. This is kind of not a locker room interview. This was a personal interview here with Yahoo Sports, so it was good to catch this in before we went live because it is important to hear Dak's mindset. He's definitely having less of an issue to kind of talk about it, and like we said, the issue initially about Trey Lance was more about Will Greer's last game with the Cowboys. He was really emotional about that. So now with front and center now, fully focused on 2023. Dak is ready for this season, and he's focused, and he's comfortable, and he's in control. Again, he can probably call a game. Not a whole again. He's not experienced enough to call a game on his own in a real game against defensive coordinators, but you can see he can figure it out once in a while if need be. And it's confident for the Cowboy fans to feel that.
Yeah.
So.
Seabass said Dak put many on for that mental health. That's why he did it. So, let me see. Jumps in Cowboys, much love. He said, Lance is there to light the competitive fire under Dak. You don't bring him in unexpectedly unless you're sending a message.
Well, I don't think the message is that he's your backup quarterback. I'm sorry, people are buying too much into this. I love some people out there that do all this content creating stuff, but sometimes I feel they're just jumping. They get a little delusional. For people that don't get delusional about this, you got to remember Trey Lance still a work in progress. Of course, you try to get your team better. You just got it better by getting rid of Will Greer.
Now,
you're going to get it better when he jumps over Cooper Rush. So already you made it better. That's what this is about. If he gets to the point where he plays like a first-round quarterback, then we can start talking about the true situation. Until then, I don't want to hear it. Because Trey Lance is nowhere close to Dak Prescott. He may have a couple of plays in him. He might be able to do a couple of things mixed into the offense. Outside of that, he will throw interception after interception and have horrible game after horrible game, bad decision making, because he cannot read zone defenses. He can read man defense. He cannot read zone defense, and that's the big issue. He's got to get there. McCarthy's going to hold him for 2 years before he gets close to that field. And again, remember, Dak is getting paid $40 million. Trey Lance is getting paid $1 million. You can ask Jerry Jones is going to be starting. I don't care if Dak got a broken leg. Dak's starting over Trey Lance if he can get in that game. You know what I mean? Because $40 million to one. Jerry Jones is pushing. He did it with Zeke. He'll do it with Dak if he has to.
So Tyron Church said Dak is the next Garrett. So hopefully he can do a little better than that.
They cut and kicked out every Garrett around him. Now he's got the McCarthy in him. He got McCarthyism. So I don't know about that Tyrone Church. We got disagreement there. We got to see though. Is it too embedded in him already? Maybe, but it seems he seemed to handle this one pretty well with the scheme of McCarthy, the play calling book of McCarthy and McCarthy's plays. These are McCarthy's installed plays. So Dak did a damn good job, I think, for vanilla offense versus vanilla defense.
Yep. By the way, Frame Rippers, much love. He said it'll help Dak on field when making audibles. Agree,
100%. That's part of what Romo did. That's what I've always said, Voodoo. I said it. That's what we need Dak to step up and do. And McCarthy saw this. After 4 years there, I've seen it since 6 years ago. And they said, you know what, Dak, I want you to find a way to take ownership. This is a way of forcing him to take some more ownership. And yes, on-the-fly audibles, quick huddles, no huddles. Yeah, this is what Dak's going to see.
By the way, Tyron Church meant as in, Dak's going to be the next Garrett, as in he's going to be our next head coach.
Oh, wow.
Like he's going to take the Garrett pipeline through
the
Dallas Cowboys. And you know what?
I'm going to wait on that for me, but I think he has that possibility.
No, but honestly, I never really thought about Dak's future, once he hung up his cleats.
Is he Kellen Moorish then?
Well, I mean, the potential is definitely there if he wants it to be, I think.
He's the best of the three, though. Garrett as a backup, Dak, and Kellen Moore. Dak's the best.
As far as the quarterbacking
player coach.
He's definitely the best one who's been able to execute out there on the field. But I'm just saying, like I said, it just never occurred to me to consider Dak Prescott on more of the coaching side of things. So just saying that
it's interesting to
his
see.
His first performance, well done. So
it's going to be interesting to see. It's funny bringing this up. It's gonna if he ever becomes a coach in 20 years, right? He's out of football, whatever, and whoever he's coaching for, is he gonna have? You got to remember all the influences, and right now he's in the middle of another one. So my point is that with the Garrett and Linehan and Kellen Moore influences, how will that balance out with the McCarthy influence? Which one will take over? Can they push out some of this Garrett shit and kind of move the McCarthy kind of mindset into it and mix it in and kind of get them together. You know what I'm saying? Kind of mold it together. I don't know. We'll see what kind of coach Dak can be. But right now, he just called a game that was installed by the coach, by Mike McCarthy, against the defense that had maybe 3 or 4 different plays. So let's just call it what it is too. But it's good for him to understand, and get and be in completely involved in play calling. So when he's on the field, exactly what Voodoo said, it's going to help him with audibles. I think it's going to help him also with some quick or no huddles. When he sees something on the field, he's going to notice it immediately, and he knows exactly what to do next. Play calling wise, he might change the play. I love it.
So, let me see. Frame Ripper's cracking me up. He said, Trey Lance holds the ball low like a damn high school freshman. There's raw piece of chicken in front of you to be cooked, and there's 2 chickens waiting to fucking lay an egg, and Lance is the latter.
And he's got to learn some different things here. And guess what? McCarthy's the best guy to teach him on this, guys. The best guy to guide him and mold him on this. The best guy to develop him.
Over there in 49ers country.
And again, this is not because Shanahan can't develop guys. He's more of a system guy, right? He will get the right system around you, but I don't know if he's the best developer of quarterbacks, Shanahan. McCarthy is a much better developer of quarterbacks. And let's see how he can get. I think he's also good. For me, I think he's found different ways, not just Dak, but other guys on our offense, to get the most out of them and match the scheme to their skill set, not force them into his scheme. So I think he'll do the same thing with Trey Lance. If that day ever comes, or if we can use him on the field for Trey Lance special type plays.
So, no, we kind of keep it rolling from there.
Well, let's keep it going, guys. Let's get to the numbers. Yeah, the numbers. Not the numbers. The numbers game we just played when it comes to the rosters, but the numbers of the players on their jersey. And let me just start off with Overshown. All right. So right now, people are asking, is the Marion Overshown going to get that number 0? Agent 0, is he going to get number 0? First 0 in our team, right? We don't have anybody officially with it yet. According to Nick Harris from DallasCowboys.com, he said, quote, he's sticking with number 35. So the Marion Overshown is going to stay at 35. So guys, doesn't sound like he's not going to change his jersey number, is my point. It sounds like, at least not this year, for Overshown.
I mean, honestly, if he's just going to be on IR and out, maybe that's a consideration.
Yeah, well, here's a chance to grab a jersey. He's not going with Agent 0. He's staying with 35. That's the word. Now, Todd Archer, interesting little comment here from Todd Archer, one of the Dallas area, reporters. He said this interesting comment about Dak Kearse. He said, quote, would almost guarantee Dak Kearse will be changing from number 27 to number 1 now that Kelvin Joseph is gone. And that's by the time the Cowboys go to work tomorrow, Thursday, or by the start of next week. We'll talk about this in a minute. Let me get back to the man, Marco Seppian, dropping that 5 on it.
Woo! Thank you, Mark.
Much love. The man, Mark, from Hawaii. Welcome in. What did the man say?
He said, what happened to that undrafted linebacker who got a ton of sacks in college? Did he make the team? The quarterback signing was good. Why not sign Dak if he's the man?
Now, let me take the first question. Isaiah Land is that guy. Pretty sure he's that guy you're talking about. Isaiah Land was of course not, was cut and then missed on the re-sign.
Yes, so he did not make the team.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
The Cowboys wanted him, but they let him go. It was a Ridgeway-like situation, I guess you can say.
Exactly. So someone, took him from us, and all fair and square, and that's that. So
sucks.
Wishing him the best for sure.
But that's one of those front office moves that can get a little, or maybe Dan Quinn. I gotta trust Dan Quinn, but not the happiest guy about it, right?
So, and then, yes, obviously we were definitely fans of the Trey Lance move. We've said it here a few times.
Yeah.
But as far as why not sign Dak if he's the man? Again, I truly believe the Cowboys are still working on his extension behind the scenes with his agent. But that's going to probably take a while, and I still think we probably won't see it till next year, maybe. Like end of the season.
Trey Lance, I'm happy with this. Improves our team. That's no worry there. I'm not worried about Dak either. Dak is going to do his thing out there, Mark. And I think that I understand what you're saying about why not sign him now, because that's the way the Cowboys do this crap. They always play games. The Cowboys, you know this, Mark. They're always gonna wait, and they're gonna wait. And listen, in Jerry Jones' mind, he's signing Dak, but he's trying to be a shrewd businessman. It's only going to cost us more money in the end. That's what it feels like to me. If you really think Trey Lance is going to take over for Dak, I think is a rude awakening coming for the Cowboy fan base if they think he's taking over this year or next year. Now, after that, we'll see. It depends what happens. I think bigger thing to look at throughout the season and into next offseason, I think that's when the Cowboys give him his deal. Jason Renfro with the 1-4 in the house. He had the $14 holler. That used to be Jabril Cox. Now it's an open number. So much love, Jason Renfro with the 14 drop. He takes over the stream boss from Snug X. Is there a little mini comeback here? Takeover? I think so. $14 holler, baby. What did the man say?
He said, "Go Cowboys."
Go Cowboys.
Always go Cowboys.
Hell yeah.
Oh, thanks so much, Jason. I appreciate you.
Stays in first place, of course. Has a bit of a lead there.
Let me see
we'll
here.
See what
Chatters,
appreciate you,
thanks
Jason.
for joining us. So, Presley Mitchell said, going all out this year. So underestimated them for so long, but let's see what happens.
I'm with you, right?
Yeah,
we're hesitant, but we are.
Pity to whoever underestimates our Dallas Cowboy team this year because, man.
Especially on defense. And that's where
I think there's going to be some regrets had if that's.
Well, that's where we're going to end tonight, baby, on defense. And a specific leader, and I just brought him up already a couple of times, Dak Kearse, number 27, who, by the way, congrats to Jason Renfro, who's 100 points fully loaded on the stream boss and fully loaded in first place and leading the Cash App first place spot and leading the gifting board. I mean, it's a takeover here. We had Snug X with a takeover. Now Jason Renfro, a little takeover. Mark Hofsepian and others are always in the background. You never know. Now, I wanted to make a mention on number 27 because his number, remember, he was going to change his number. Remember that to 0.
Yeah.
We just talked about Overshown getting 0, and of course, he's going to stay with 35, according to Nick Harris from DallasCowboys.com. Todd Archer said, quote, "I would almost guarantee that Dak Kearse will be changing from number 27 to number 1 when the Cowboys report their work on Thursday or by the start of next week," which means, that Kelvin Joseph jersey that's now, he's been, obviously moved on from, the number 1 is now available. A word seems to be from Todd Archer that he's going to move from 27 to 1. That's interesting to me. Why did he take 0? Because he was going to move from 27 to 0 and then change his mind and stay on 27. Now he's going from 27 to 1? Something sounds weird there. I don't know. Who knows? Clarence Hill Jr. responded to that and said, quote, "He told me he wasn't changing his number. We will see." So again, last I heard, Dak Kearse is staying with 27. The first I've heard about number 1 going to him is Todd Archer. So we'll see. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about what Dak Kearse decides. And I think he should stay at 27. I kind of got his jersey already. So
I mean, I was going to say, I out of all the options here, I definitely like that one the most.
Who do you think will get 1, though? 1's available. You think it'll be like Aubrey? Something lame like that?
Oh, so honestly, I guess
Aubrey.
I just don't get the appeal of some of these players wanting certain specific numbers. But I guess if he wants to be number 1, go for it, question mark. I mean, who are we to stop him, right? So...
Well, again, now as we kind of finish up here, baby, and get your last thoughts and comments in, guys, right now, your last drops of love from above to support the channel, get your name on the board, move up the board, whatever it may be, knock Jason Renfro down some points there on the cash on the stream boss. But baby, I want to I want you to let me know what J-Ron Kearse said today. Because J-Ron Kearse spoke about a lot of different people, a lot of different things. And, I know you kind of have his quotes from today, right? It's not just Micah. It's, yeah. He started off talking about Micah Parsons, and that's, another leader of this defense, of this team, right?
Again, Micah is absolutely a force to be reckoned with. And J-Ron Kearse said, quote, "I expect a defensive player of the year type of year for him." Sorry, that year type of year thing tripped me up for a second. "Hands down. If I was a betting guy, my money's on him. I've just seen the way he comes in this year, different than the previous two. He has the ability to wreck a game at any given moment when he wants to. The type of impact I'm expecting him to have is not only for the defense, but for the team. It's tremendous. Just his mentality and how he's attacking things this year, it's much different than I've seen in his previous years. He comes in like, I'm the lion. He lives like that throughout the day, throughout the week, just like, I'm the baddest guy out here." He has shown that, and that's the biggest difference I've seen from him.
So, I mean, again, you're seeing Micah here wreck shit, as kind of you're hearing from J-Ron Kearse, but maybe after we've seen all this working out, he just boxed Mozzie Smith. He was boxing again. We posted the video of him today boxing. What do you think about Micah as he's going to make that transformation from year one to year two? J-Ron Kearse sees it. Do you see it and feel it too from Micah Parsons? I do.
It's guys, we were talking about benching him just in like softball practices during the preseason because he was going too hard. Like, I see
ready.
it.
He's more than ready.
You see it, you feel it. You can see that from outer space. Of course, Kearse did.
We got the man, Jason Renfro, gifting another one. He put up a field goal now officially as LaMarcus Robinson. Congrats. He won the membership there. Navy Blue crew member. Much love to you, Jason Renfro. Staying in the lead on both boards right now, right? On the overall board and on the gifting board. Much love, Jason Renfro. Congrats to Mr. Robinson. And go Cowboys. You know it. Much love, Jason. I'm updating the board right now as we speak and as the wife speaks about J-Ron Kearse. Go Cowboys. Get that 6 and beyond, baby.
Kearse is one of the only guys that hasn't had like his contract extended or been offered anything or whatever.
Well, most recently, yes.
Yeah, we're talking about the recent moves. So, but, at least according to him in his recent comments, he's not really that bothered by it, saying, quote, "It's part of this business. I just go play football. I can't do anything about the contract situation. Either way, I have to go play good football regardless. And that's just what I move by. Understanding that I've got to go play some good ball or else what I feel like I'm worth or what I deserve won't come."
And, it's crazy because, again, that's one thing of it, right? Playing to his top abilities. And I think he's done a great job also being a leader and being a true Cowboy. When I say that, I mean, what do we hear him taunting the Washington Commander fans? Saying, when they wanted Dallas and we kicked their ass in Washington, he was mocking them, the fans. I loved it. And, I think he's done that again. He was in tears after we lost the damn Niners. That's how much it hurt him to lose that game. It wasn't about the money at that moment. It wasn't about, it was about representing that star and going to the next round with your brothers and your teammates and with your team. And he knows we should have beat the Niners last year. We could have faced off with the Eagles to go to the goddamn Super Bowl. But, all right, this year it's got to be.
So, Kearse said it in there. "Good football is my main objective, my main thing I have to do, and everything else will handle itself, God willing." So, and, of course, he added in one final little comment here. He very much believes in his teammates, saying, "We ain't taking no shit from nobody. All 32 teams. We ain't taking shit from nobody."
Yeah, he reiterated that
whether
from the
it's
other
our
practice,
offense
right?
or the next offense. We're trying to show we're the best in the business, so it gets spicy out here. It's going to get spicy on Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays. Wherever we line up, that's how we're going to come.
Ooh, hey, this Cowboy defense is more than ready. We got guys for days when it comes to depth. We got a good rotation coming in here, situational football. And if we stop the run, as I said before, you're done. If the Cowboy defense stops the run game, you're done. I don't care if you're Mahomes. We stop the run, you're done.
Yep.
.com that shit. .com that shit.
So there you go.
Let's get that defense.
But there we go. That was it, at least on my side. So
that's it on my side. So I'm hyped up for the season to get here ready. We are like 10 days, 9 days. We're going to be like 9 days away any moment here. So maybe hit the last couple of comments in the chat as I take Mr. J. Ron Kearse off. And you see our little cartoon bobbleheads bobbling away. We'll be back tomorrow in our normal VTuber mode. And, of course, we'll have an interesting, again, we're going to have a membership raffle here, star level, on Sunday. So get in the star level if you want to be in that. But also we're going to have a one-time viewing, I think, this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to double check that. I'm pretty sure this Saturday, a one-time viewing.
You have to double check too by hitting the like, subscribing, hitting that notification bell.
Damn right.
You guys can follow us on social media at MyCowboysFamily. Make sure to hop in the Discord too. We always post there before we go live and let you guys know about some of these one-time viewing only.
Yeah, that's coming, guys. It's coming. This Saturday. Keep that in mind. Sunday is the raffle. That's what we were rolling.
But yeah, let me go ahead and do the shout-outs here of tonight. Shouting out everybody here, of course. Jason Renfro, much love. Presley Mitchell, take it easy, man. Have a great night. Sorry, I know. Trust me, we'd love to go another few hours here, but we do have to wake up tomorrow. So,
yeah.
Even you, Eastside Harold.
He always pops out. He loves to hear about real football in the NFL. He loves it. And he loves it coming from Cowboy fans.
Yep, Frame Rippers representing, of course. Jason Renfro, much love. Retro Scotty representing. Jared Morrison, what's up? Thomas Garrett, the superior Garrett, who said, y'all know we're dealing with the damn clown show.
Yeah, that's part of the anchor to our team sometimes, right?
So
drags us down.
Let me see. Aaron Hook. We have, of course, Jason Renfro. Tyrone Church. Yeah,
Presley.
Much love.
Jason. Side of East.
Drums and Cowboys. Frame Rippers, of course.
Voodoo.
And yeah, let me see, Asmodeus.
Hell yeah, Retro Scotty.
Mary Alvarez.
Retro Scotty, Frank Moore.
Harold Jones.
Monroe Gadet. Jared Morrison. You might have said those people.
Yeah, that's as far back as I can go, at least on my side. So, with that said, guys, again, a final little second here to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell. Shout out once again to the sponsor of the week, the Cash App King, Snug X, 3 weeks in a row.
Trying to go for 4. We'll see. He's not on the board this week, but the guy who's taking over, you know his name, Jason Renfro. He's got 100 points in the Stream Boss. He's also the current leader on the Cash App board, the current champion the last 4 weeks, the last month on the membership gifting. He's got the inside track. He's got 3 on it right now versus Skeptical's 1, as he's kind of trying to hold down 5 on it, 5 weeks in a row on that side of things on the gifting membership. And the overall board, it is Jason Renfro as well. So he's got all avenues here.
Sorry, Mark Hosepian, of course.
Of course,
the
man.
Shout you out, but just in case another.
The man, Mark Hosepian. How you miss Mark, man? Yeah. Mark Hosepian. I got some shout outs. Not only Mark Hosepian, who dropped the love here, Mary Alvarez, Dwayne Broussard, and of course Jason Renfro. Much love to you guys. Dropping the love from above tonight. Appreciate every single one of you guys that are watching, dropping the comments, dropping your knowledge, dropping the love, help, whatever you want to call it here on MCF that keeps us going for an hour, hour and a half, like tonight, 2 hours sometimes, or longer, right? When we do our live stream reaction every night, we try to go every night right here on YouTube, right here on My Cowboys Family. So, baby. And we did the shout-outs. We got all the news out. Again, family things going on. Again, we have our Saturday special, one-time viewing, the Sunday raffle of the Star Level membership. So that's the stuff coming for the weekend. Of course, got Fan Friday. So that's the plan going forward. Tomorrow might be a family day situation with family in town, but we'll discuss that. We might try to get on for a quickie tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how things go. If, of course, there's any big news, we will definitely be going live no matter what. So keep that in mind. We'll try to get out here tomorrow and do it again. And definitely, of course, the weekend we'll be rocking it, having some specials to basically kick off the season. Because to me, the season starts Monday when practices and films now is your 110%. Involved against the Giants and practicing, getting ready. The injury report comes out, and everything kind of comes out now for real, starting Monday. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so Kenzie Bands, take it easy. Have a great night. But, baby, why do we do what we do?
Well, I was going to ask you that. What are the 3 main reasons why we do what we do?
It's that navy blue, that silver, too, and that star over everything.
Hell yeah. And win, lose, or draw, we want to win. Good, bad, or ugly, we just want good. But no matter what happens, we'll always rep that star right here over everything. Here on My Cowboys Family for 6 years and beyond. 7 seasons. Yes, it's our 7th season, technically. on My Cowboys Family on YouTube. Never forget the number one thing here, now, and forever. As always, go Cowboys! Let's get that 6 and beyond. Thank you all for rocking with us and dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. Appreciate your drops of love from above as well to the family that's been doing that. Appreciate you guys tonight on that side of things. And baby, before we can drop out, clock out for the night, and reload for tomorrow, Fan Friday, and the weekend of fun we got going here on MCF, what do we got to do before we drop out of here for the night?
We got to drop the beat.
That was a quickie there. You got me there. Almost got me.
There you go. I got you.
You almost got me. Guys, thank you for getting us here and checking in, chilling with us, hitting that like, subscribing, notification bell, all that good stuff. Should be back for one tomorrow. We'll see. Thank you all for dropping the knowledge, the love. Appreciate everybody. And again, discussing our Dallas Cowboy news, info, and the updates. If you're in the membership, that Navy Blue Crew, Silver 2, Star, or over everything level, drop them if you got them. You know what I mean? Thank you all here. Remind those Eagles 5 is always greater than 1. Pretty simple math, you'd figure. For them, they get confused. And us, you see our team here, all 53, plus another 16 and a couple suspended guys like Ronald Jones, right, on our roster still. Some injured reserve guys and some, that'll be back soon, right, 4 weeks. And many, many others that we discussed here tonight on My Cowboys Family. Can't wait to get this thing kicked off here in like T-minus 10 days, 9 days. I'm ready. You ready? Here at MCF, it's about that navy blue, that silver 2, that star for everything. We're ready. And never forget the number one thing here, My Cowboys Family. Much love to everyone. Appreciate everybody in the house supporting the channel in any way you guys can. We'll see you back here for another one tomorrow. Appreciate you all, guys. Have a good night. Stay safe. Peace. And never, ever, ever forget, go Cowboys!
Monk on the beat.